almost there. No way. What is this? You're tuned in to the Eyes Open podcast, where secrets aren't safe and we see it all.
This has to be one of the most talked about things that I see in the conspiracy realm nowadays, is what is in the meat. Because the amount of different, theories that I've heard from about this whole type of situation is just wild. But it's crazy that we've gotten to a point now where people don't trust the meat at all. I remember back, obviously a long time ago, when people got ground beef, they knew it was more than likely ground beef. I remember my mother telling me that my grandfather used to go to the grocery store, and what they used to do back in the day was they would get raw hamburger meat, put salt on it, and eat it. Like, they would eat raw hamburger meat back then. That's how fresh and good the meat was. But nowadays, you do some shit like that, yeah, that's not probably going to turn out good for you. And I wouldn't recommend doing that. I actually saw a guy doing that on a viral video. He was literally eating raw ground beef. And he wasn't eating it like, you see these people that'll do anything for a viral video. He wasn't eating it in that sense. Like, this guy was eating it like he literally eats raw ground beef. And don't get me wrong. There's a beef tartare, or what they come up with, all this different type of stuff. But see, a lot of times they use things. See, when you eat these raw type of stuff at these restaurants, there's all different types of ways that you can actually cook meat without cooking it, to where it'll, sanitize it. It'll kill a lot of the bacteria and stuff in it. Lemon, is a way that I've seen Mexican dishes prepared where the shrimp's raw and they literally let it sit in lemons, and it will, cook the meat to where it cooks out any of the garbage that's in it. So literally, it's weird. Like, citric acid that's in the lemon can actually cook the meat to where it'd be safe to eat, even if it's raw. And I'm the type of person, even with all this type of stuff going on, but mind you, I don't go to the store and get meat. I go directly to the source. I go to the farmers. I live around these people. So to eat anything that's not ground beef is foreign to me. And the thing is this, people like me, we can spot it. Okay, I spot it right away when I go to when I actually go to a grocery store, because I'm the type of person, I have a lot of stuff delivered. I really don't go shopping. It eats way too much into my time. I just, I'm surprised as far out as I live that the delivery service comes out here. But yeah, I just order grocery delivery service for all my other type of stuff. But my meat, I'll go straight to the source. I make sure what I'm eating is organic. I make sure what I'm eating is grass-fed and finished. I know it's expensive for some people. They can't afford it, but it's the only thing that I'll eat. And red meat is a big part of my diet. Being a carnivore for so many years and sticking pretty, strict to it. I still have fruit and stuff like that, but I got rid of a lot of grains in my diet. And I eat a lot of meat that's, literally had ailments go away from going carnivore. Now, and I noticed the difference, like even my face got puffier when I started eating, putting vegetables and different carbs back into my diet. I noticed that I was getting puffier. I was feeling more bloated. So, I mean, you go carnivore, if you've ever tried it, you would see the insane benefits of it. So that's why it makes like an episode like this even more interesting to me, because I'm a type of person that I can spot bullshit meat. You're not going to be passing off a cut of garbage meat to me. It's not happening. Now they have where they show you, if you guys have seen this, it looks like 3D printed meat. Like they had the videos where it almost looked like the meat's taped together. It was insane. They had a whole special about this. So it's not only what is the meat made of, but they were showing to where they were taking expired meat. They were saying butchers and stores do it all the time, which I'm sure they do. And they were dipping it in blood Okay, they'd move it around. The guy was showing how they do it, and then they put it right back out on the shelf, and they act like it's new and repackage it and make it look like it's brand new, and people buy it. So do I see that happening? Yeah, absolutely. Of course they probably do that. But the really strange thing was if you guys have seen the meat glue, that's what I was talking about. They glue together. They say restaurants are doing it, higher end restaurants. One of them got caught. They actually had a news story about it. They were gluing cheaper pieces of meat together, and then it would, like, once it was all stuck together, it looked like a fillet, and they would cook it and they would serve it. So it was pretty wild to see that. But yeah, I'm the type of person, I mean, really the only cut of meat I really eat, like, honestly, it's filet or ground beef. I don't really eat much. Or I mean, I'll have a prime rib here and there, or a ribeye, but I just don't like the more fat contents of them. I like to get a nice, leaner filet. If I get something with fat in it, I want it like marbled. I want it to be a marbled type of filet. But yeah, so being somebody that goes straight to the source, knows what real ground beef and real steaks cuts really should look like. It's almost even got like a deep red, almost purplish hue to it. And that's because they're not bleaching it. They're not adding all these garbage procedures that they do to the meat before it hits store shelves. So you're actually getting good meat. And I know the difference too, because if I go and eat a burger this is why I won't go nowhere and eat a burger no more. If I want a burger, I'm making a burger at home. If I go out and eat a burger, I notice I'm like bloated for like the rest of the day. If I go and eat a burger, I feel like sick. And if I eat at home and make it with real ground beef, anybody that knows this, if you eat the real good, go to a farmer, get it type of beef, and eat that versus eating the meat that they sell in the store, you totally can notice the difference. You can like eat more of it. You don't feel bloated after you eat it. And it's night and day. So we're talking maybe, it was even before the Big C event, before 2020. I've always been the type of person, people will spend a ton of money to get Gucci belts and all types of fancy stuff. I've always been the one to want to spend more on my food. So I went, I'll eat stuff that's not organic, but for the most part, I don't. Like, all my foods are organic. And I know people will say, trust me, I know all that there's certain parts that aren't organic, and they're allowed to do certain amount that, is not organic and get away with it by law, which is understandable. But like I said, I'm the type of person, I'd rather take less vacations. I'd rather spend less money on other types of things and spend way more money on food, because we should care about what's going into our body more than anything, because that's what your health is running on. And what's the saying? I forget what philosopher said it is. What was it? Hippocrates, because the doctors take the Hippocratic oath. He said, I'm pretty sure it was Hippocrates, so somebody will have to look it up. But it was an old philosopher said, let the food be thy medicine and the medicine be thy food. That's the truth when you think about it. You won't need all this big pharma medications and stuff if you simply just eat better food. Now, the way this spirals and gets even darker and crazier is the fact that it started when people were going and literally getting meat tested and finding that the meat has human DNA in it. They were doing this from multiple fast food chains. I remember seeing Wendy's offering, like, what was it, 35-cent burgers or something. I says, man, that meat either bad or they're serving you like raccoon knuckles or some shit. That is not beef. And then from there, this is the path it takes you down. So it literally, based off the numbers, now this has already been done, so I don't want to hear any arguments about it. It's already been done We've already done the numbers, literally sat there and broke it down. And you're talking about somebody that used to figure profit margins. You have to sit there and go over all different types of things before you even open a business. That all has to do with financial reporting. So breaking down numbers is very easy for me. So when I sit there and do the numbers, and I had somebody who's an expert, okay, he's a farmer. He deals with farmers all over the country. And he's a farmer in my state. And I wanted to have him on for this episode. I should have hit him up and had him on for the episode. But I'm going to save that first in-studio interview. Is going to be crazy. We're gonna have to really save that guest for something crazy. Because that's going to be the first in-studio interview. Because I've never done an in-studio interview except for, what was it, Bigfoot? But anyways, back to what I was saying. So, yeah, we sat down and did the math, and we added in all of the other factors, and even added in wild card factors that you wouldn't even add in, okay? Because when you're estimating, you want to shoot a little higher sometimes, so that way you know that your number is going to be spot on. So we added in all these variables, and we came to the conclusion, I don't care what nobody tells you or what they try to break down. It's lies. Even with importing beef, which we do, we get beef from Australia. You get beef from all over the world. They even got, look at China bought up Smithfield. I remember when they did that, like, a few people in my family would see that brand, like, man, I want to go near that stuff. And that was kind of, too, like, I'm the type of person, I know a lot of people feel this way. They're starting to get like this, too. I'm not a pork person, man. I used to love ribs and stuff like that. I don't eat pork no more. I just don't. Unless it's bacon, me personally, I don't, pigs are dirty animals. I don't believe in eating anything unless it's hard to turn down some bacon. Now, you make me some bacon and eggs or something for breakfast, it's hard to turn that down. But yeah, I just don't eat pig. And I used to eat pork chops. I used to eat all that stuff. But pretty much the biggest thing about this is, so if it's not ground beef, if they don't have enough cows, if you do all the numbers, what is in the meat? Okay, because it's not beef. You got to even think about this from a logical standpoint. Okay, you have every fast food joint out there. Look at how many burgers McDonald's alone sells. Okay, then add in your Steak and Shakes, add in your Culvers, add in your Shake Shacks, add in your, you name it, Five Guys, Burger King, Wendy, add them all in. And you're going to tell me that these people, we have enough cows in this country to supply all that meat. And that's not even including the grocery stores. I don't care what anybody says, okay? Something's rotten in Denmark to me. I don't buy it. And like I told you, based off the math that me and an expert in that field did, it does not add up. The math is not mathing. Now, like I said, people can say, well, there's human DNA in the meat. I'll buy this, okay, for this reason. It's dangerous in these factories, processing plants, all types of places. People cut themselves. So you might even be getting blood in some of these meat that you don't even know. So there is human DNA in it. I've heard people lost whole fingers and shit like that in these type of situations before, and working in these processing plants and stuff like that. So maybe there's somebody's ground up finger in there. You don't know, but they said they've tried it from so many different things that it's concerning, to say the least, that there's human DNA in the meat. But it gets even more weirder when this is a very dark and crazy rabbit hole to go down. Because I went down it, and man, once you go down this rabbit hole, it's hard to look at fast food the same ever again. I know I didn't when I went down this rabbit hole, because there was literally somebody who had came out. This was maybe sometime in the 90s, and he was a senior, or what do they call it? He was senior field agent for a bureau for the 3-letter bureau, starting with an F, ending with an I. I don't like to say 3-letter agencies, as people know, because they tend to flag it. But he worked for a 3-letter agency. He was, like a senior officer or agent, overseeing agent of the bureau. And he literally came out and said this. And what's weird is this guy like vanished. Nobody heard from him again. He said that the biggest traffickers and child kidnappers in the United States is actually that 3-letter agency. And he said he had to quit because he had found out about it and knew actually what was going on. And he was saying that literally they are kidnapping these children for the elites. So it was insane to hear somebody that actually proved his credentials in this field, that he was with that 3-letter agency and then was, blowing the whistle on this, saying that, hey, this is what's really going on. Because 800,000 children, just children alone, go missing in the United States every year. 800,000. That's insane. That's not even adding in. Now, hey, I may be off on the number. Maybe it's 500,000, but I know it's way up there. It's like 500. It's between 500 and 800,000. And I remember because it's just children too. This isn't even like all the missing people that go missing in the country. So that's just children. Not even, a bunch of other people that you add in, all different types of demographics. This is literally just children. So it makes you wonder, where are all these children going? Because I can tell you this, there has been multiple people that have come out and talked about ritualistic sacrifice, how high people up in high offices of politics and, people that are very well-to-do are actually consuming people. They show you right in the movies. There was that movie with, I think it's called Careful What You Wish For. And it's with Nick Stahl. It's where he goes to meet a friend in another country. The friend ends up committing unaliving himself. Gotta watch my words again. He unalives himself. And he's in this foreign country, and he finds out that his buddy, who's also a chef, brought him down there because he was going to turn him on to where they pay him big money to actually cook a human. And I did an episode about this, or no, I did a reel about it and was explaining about it. But there's movies all over in Hollywood that are about this because, like I've always said, they have to tell you what they're doing. So if you notice, and I've also seen, because I was talking about how these diseases come about from people consuming, human meat. And ever since the meat industry kind of changed, these type of because fast food wasn't a thing. People know that. Nobody ate from fast food. Fast food was like a thing that popped up at some point. People go out and get a burger here and there, but it was nowhere near the demand that it is now and that it's everywhere. And people literally feed their families multiple times a week this garbage. And now it makes me wonder. We're wondering about where all the cancers come from, where all the stuff's coming from. But you're feeding your kids this garbage. You're feeding your husband, your wife, this garbage. And then you're wondering. I honestly see a correlation myself, my opinion. I see a correlation between the disease and the meats that we're eating. They had, and there's stuff they've already admitted to, like, there was, they were using horse meat at one time. I think it was McDonald's or one of them got caught for using horse meat. And it was all over the place. And it was verified. Like, this is not no conspiracy theory. It was verified. But me personally, I don't care what anybody says. All right. It's a discernment. It's a feeling. I do the math. I look at everything that's going on. Especially when it comes to, I know how these elites operate. I know how these people operate. Okay. They are literal vampires. Okay. Do I believe that they eat people? Absolutely. Okay. I believe a lot of very, rich, famous people. Look at that one actor, Armie Hammer. I believe it was Armie Hammer. His dad's a big, rich oil tycoon or some shit. He got kicked out of Hollywood because now it makes me wonder why they exposed them. Maybe to show that they expose this type of stuff. But yeah, he was telling a girl like he wanted to eat her, literally eat her. And they exposed them for literally being a cannibal. So, but then you got to think about, even for me, even the idea that humans could do that to other humans, what it is to me, it's demonic. It's demons, because the demons, when you think about it, they have the depictings and the paintings and everything. Demons want to consume us. They want to eat humans. Okay, they want to destroy us, rip us apart, and just eat us, devour us. So that's like symbolic in what they're doing is these evil people at the top want to consume humans because they're demonic. The demon inside of them wants to consume humans. Like, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. He, what was crazy is he was making whole furniture out of people, and he said his favorite movie to watch, he was watching it all the time, was the Exorcist movies. He even said in one of the people he unalived, they he would put, they showed it in the part of that show or whatever they had on him, where he was, you know, he talked in his interview saying that he used to watch The Exorcist with these people and stuff, and he was into a very evil, you know, homosexual lifestyle. So I can only imagine the demons that were swarming around him. But that's what I believe. I believe that it's demonic. Demons want to devour humans. They want to devour you. They want to destroy you. So if they're infecting other people, they're going to want to consume humans. Believe it or not, you can look it up. George Washington, I talked about this back in the Founding Fathers episode I did. George Washington, during Valley Forge, they were bringing him humans to eat that had died, of people that had died. And they said, even when they brought the supplies in at one point, Washington still wanted to eat human meat. He grew a liking to it. Go look that up and see if I'm lying. There's documented historical evidence to it in writings that that's what he did, and he actually enjoyed human meat. That's insane. But this is one of those topics that people can feel any way they want. There's enough evidence out there from what I've seen for me to believe that that's absolutely what's going on. The elite are cannibals. There probably is stuff in this fast food meat based off what I'm seeing. Or what is it then? What are you guys cooking up? There's not enough animals out there. Not enough animals, tons of missing people. You know, for me, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But the question is, what do you guys believe?